Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. Merry Christmas if it is still American time that you're watching this, or Happy Christmas Eve to everyone else, or whatever day it turns out to be. Today we're going to be looking at the solo from Deathmask Divine by the Black Dahlia Murder. It's so good. Let's take a look. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is the LOL C standard. So we're going to play C, F, what have we got here? B flat, E flat, G, and another C. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I'm going to start from 12 of the first string, then I go to 14, then I work into this little legato thing. So what I was doing there was playing 15 of the first string and pulling off 14, 12, and then resolving back to 14. So this is what we should have thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I go back to 12 of the first string and bend 15 of the second. We follow that up with this phrase. So I'm going to play 12 on the first string, pull off 14 to 12 and then 15 to 12. That's going to sound like this. Finishing that off, big sexy bend on 15. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I'm going to start from 12 of the second string. We can get a cheeky slide emphasis if you like. At the end of that, I'm going to play 13, 12. And then I'm going to do a grace note slide from 13 to 10. So from the start of that phrase, so you kind of get that cheeky little grace note slide, which I think has a lot of flavor and vibe. So please get involved. At the end of that, I'm going to play 7 twice on the third string and slide into 9. Then I finish it off with this kind of bluesy phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got a hammer on from 7 to 9 on the third string, and then a hammer on pull off going 8, 10, 8 on the second. So from the bit before, at the end of that, I'm playing 9 of the third, 8 of the second, and then 9 of the third. If you want to add in sort of a very, very slow quarter bend from the 8, that could add a bit of a bluesy vibe. And we just end on that 9 vibrato. And that's all of the first section. So let's take that from the start. Let's try that one more time, even slower with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. I'm going to start off with a very quick hammer on from 12 to 13 on the second string. Then I do a pull off to 12, and then I start working through this triplet phrase. So let's work through that triplet by triplet. The first one I'm going to do is a pull off from 13 to 12 on the second string and slide back to 10. Then I'm going to play 12, 10, 8 on the second string as a pull off into a slide. So we got The next triplet I'm going to do is going to play 10-8 on the second string and then 11 of the third. I'm going to backtrack to 8 of the second string and then play 11-9 on the third string. So we're just adding in legato where possible. At the end of that, I'm going to add in 2 more triplets. I'm going to play 11-9-8 on the third string, all in one pick, and then pull off 9-8 again, and then jump to 10 of the fourth. So from the start of the section, we should have this. Okay, then I work into this phrase. So this is pretty weird. Let's take our time with it. I'm going to play 7 of the third string and then pull off 10-9 on the fourth. Then I'm going to pull off 10-9 and then jump to 7 of the fourth. So we've got... Now the weird thing about this part, there's 2 7s in a row. So there's one at the end of the legato and then to start the new bit. So doing that at full speed, just making sure you remember to do that double 7 is a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm just warning you in advance. So we should have 2 groups of 3 now. Both triplets, I'm playing 7 of the third, 10-9 on the fourth, and then I'm playing 10-9, 7 on the fourth. At the end of that, hitting 7 again and playing 7-9, 10 all in one pick. And then I want to play 8-9, 11 on the third string. So I've got the next point. I'm just rolling back and forward here. I should have 5 notes on the second string. 7, 8, 10, 8, 7. Forwards and backwards. So we should have 2 groups of 3 and a group of 5. Okay, from that point, I'm going to play 9 of the third string and back to 7 of the second. So we should have this. At the end of that, what I've got here, if you've got little mittens like me, it's probably best to try and attack this with your ring and your pinky and then your pointer. I'm playing 9-8 twice on the third string as a pull off, and then I go to 5 of the third string. So let's try and take it from the start of the section and get to the most recent chunk we did. Now the reason why I go back here instead of this point here is because of the next phrase. Kind of sets you up better if you're ending on that 5 of the third string. So just the most recent chunk one more time, and we'll have a look at the next part. Okay, the next start I'm going to do is this. This phrase is exactly the same thing twice. And this will all obviously be easier if you've got more overdrive due to the fact that we're not picking as much. The legato does die when you don't have too much distortion. So a little bit of distortion does help the situation. Also, obviously, we want to stay on our bridge pickup. So what I'm doing here, the first triplet I'm going to do is going to go 8-5 on the third string and then jump to 9 of the fourth. Then I want to go back to 5 of the third and pull off 9-7 on the fourth. Next bit, I'm going to pull off 9-7-6 on the fourth. At the end of that, I'm hammering 7-9 on the fourth and then flattening to get 9 of the third string. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 triplets. I'm going to repeat that 2 times in a row. At the end of that, I'm playing just 4 notes in minims or half notes if you want to call them that. I'm playing 5 of the third and 7 of the fourth, adding some cheeky vibrato if you want to, and then I'm playing 4 of the fourth and 6 of the fifth. So all together, nice evil notes. That was a pretty epic adventure of a section. Let's take it nice and slowly from the start, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the third section. I'm going to start off with this little triplet lick. So, as we're working through these triplets, I want to start off on 14 of the first string. I'm going to play a group of 6 here, or I'm going to play 5 notes, and then on the 6th note, I'm going to change to 12. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but from 15 to 12. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm changing on the 6th note, working through those triplets, and I'm going to do that idea twice through. After I've ended on the 15, 12 on the second time, I'm going to go over to 17 on the first string, and I'm going to go through that with 4 triplets, but I'm going to bend it slowly up and back as I'm going through that. So I had a group of 12, or 4 groups of 3, or 2 groups of 6. I, for some reason, like to count in groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's easier for me to break down, and then I was just finishing on that 16 of the second string. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into some triplet adventures. I'll show you the lick, and then we'll slow it down. It's not very helpful at that speed, but we will slow it down, keeping in mind that we want to do as much legato as possible. So pull-offs, slides, whatever we need to do to reduce the amount of picking on our picking hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 17, 15, 14 on the first string, as much legato as possible. Then I'm going to play 15, 14, then to 12, adding a cheeky slide there. And then I was playing 14, 12, 11 as a pull-off into a slide as well. So we've got... Next thing that I do... Let's slow this down. I'm playing 12, 11 on the first, 13 of the second string, 11 of the first, and then 13, 12 on the second. So from the start, next bit, we've got 3 more triplets left. I'm going to play 13, 12 to 10 on the second string, then 12, 10 again, and jump to 12 of the third string. Sort of go. At the end of that, I'm playing 10 of the second string and pulling off 12, 11 on the third. So let's try this big legato lick thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to start off by playing 9, 11, 12 on the third string. And then a similar shape on the second string, but I'm playing 11, 12, 13. Now with that one, I'm going to actually roll backwards. So we're going to have 5 notes. It's going to go 10, 12, 13, 12, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of that, I'm going to play 12 of the third string, 10 of the second, and then pull off 12, 11 on the third. Now you will notice that I'm trying to end on my pointer so that I can get ready for the next phrase. So you can always do that 12, 11 from the middle to the pointer. Now the last phrase that I'm going to do is this. You notice that it's going a little bit more harmonic minor-y here as well. So what I'm doing is I'm playing 11, 12, 14 on the third. Then I'm playing 12, 13, 16 on the second string. This is using a very similar pattern to what we had before. That's going to roll backwards and we're going to have another group of 5. Okay, so it's going 12, 13, 16, and then 13, 12 on the second. Such a pain in the ass to do that pinky hammer on, you get the idea. And then after that, I'm playing 14 of the third, 12 of the second, and then pulling off 14, 12 on the third. That's going to sound like this. And that's all of the third section. So let's go right back to the start to those triplets, put all the legato together, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. guys, let's have a look at the fourth section. We're going to start off with this little phrase. Very sexy. I'm doing a slight bend on 11 of the third string and then playing 9. Giving it some sexy vibrato if you wish, and then it goes into this. What I'm doing there is a semitone bend on 19 to the first string, and then just working back through a minor triad, which is playing 19, 15 of the first and 17 of the second. Nice and simple. Now what we're actually going to do is borrow the lick that ended section 3, but we're going to do it, we're going to pick every note. So the last 12 notes of section 3 were 11, 12, 14 on the third string. And then I had my group of 5, which was going 12, 13, 16 on the second and then reversing. And then, which was 14 of the third, 12 of the second, and then 14, 12 of the third. Sound familiar? It should. But the only difference now is that we're going to pick every note. Then at the end of that, what I'm doing here is I'm playing 11, 12, 14 on the third string, and then 12, 13, 15. So we've left that harmonic minor moment behind. And then picking the 15 again to have a cheeky slide into 17. So I'll go from the start of that shreddy phrase, and then get that slide happening. That was a mouthful. All right, here we go. All right, let's go from the start of the section at a gentleman's pace. We'll add the last little chunk. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. So the cheeky, it's just like a mini bend on 19 of the first string. We'll get to that. I'm going to play 19, 17, 20, 17 on the second string. At the end of that, mini bend on 19 at the first, and then to 17 to the second. And then it'll play 20, 17 again on the second string. So I go all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's go right back to the start of the section, play it at a relatively slow speed, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section, I'm going to start off with a bend on 20 of the first string up and back for a full tone. At the end of that, I'm going to play 17 of the second string. Because of the angle I'm on, I tend to find that I'll end up on the pointer finger, and it is actually easier to vibrato down than try and go towards the ceiling on that angle. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, then I work into this phrase. We're going to start off with a cheeky diminished arpeggio starting from 20 of the third string. I'm going to play 20, 19, 17, working down the strings. At the end of that, I'm going to do a pull off from 19 to 17 on the first string, jump to 20 of the second, and then repeat 17 of the first into 20 of the second. So all together, let's have a look at what we've got from the start of this section. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm playing 19, 20, 19 on the second string. And then it'll go, what I have here is 17, 19, 17 on the second string. At the end of that, 16, 17. At the end of that, I'm going to play 13. I've got a quick hammer-on pull-off, which is going 12, 13, 12, and I slide into 16. So we've got, then I do the hammer-on pull-off again, 12, 13, 12, and then play 17 of the first, 17 of the second again. And then I want to give it another hit again, but give it a pinch harmonic. And that's pretty much the whole solo. So let's go right back to the start of this section, play it relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from Deathmask Divine by the Black Dahlia Murder. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please click the links in the description box to my Udemy course on modes, which is bitchin'. I also have a Facebook fan page, and I also have a Patreon that I'd like you guys to check out. Anyway, hope you're all well. I'll catch you all very soon.